Hey guys, welcome to YouTube channel. Recently I posted about me wanting to go pro for the 2023 season, inquiring about getting into a race team and how much it cost, and I got a lot of inquiries on how I started in the first place. And I wanted to talk to you this video about it, or do this video about it too for the YouTubers. And the first thing I want to say is that you cannot race without a racing license. I know some people were thinking, oh, I was, thinking about doing this and that, blah, blah, blah. But if you don't have a racing license, you're not going to race anywhere. It's just like getting your driver's license. You can't drive without a driver's license, right? It's the same thing with racing. You can't race without a racing license. There's steps to that. It's because of safety. And this is how I got my racing license. I started in 2015 with NASA. NASA is another organization that's local. Well, that's technically all over the United States, but they have local events. They have a Texas region, which I'm in because I'm in Texas. And they offer the HPDE program, which is the High Performance Driving Education. And there's 4 levels to it, 1 to 4. 1 meaning you're a complete beginner, to 4 you're an advanced driver, solo approved. And at level 1, they'll give you an instructor, and the instructor will teach you basically on how to drive safe and fast at the track and kind of get you familiar with yourself and the car. And, as you get better, you move up the ranks. And it just kind of depends on you as a driver, how fast you develop. For me, it took me about 1 year to get to DE4 status. Some people might be a lot quicker, some people might be a lot shorter, a lot longer. It just depends on the person. And these HPD events cost roughly about $500 to $600 for the most part. There are certain tracks that cost a lot more, like COTA, which is like $1,200, but for a majority of the tracks in Texas, it's around $500 to $600. And just for math purposes or educational purposes, I was tracking for about once a month to get up to DE4. So 12 months in a year times 600, or 500, let's make it simple, 500 times 12 in a year, that's $6,000 that I spent alone just on entrance. And I'm not rich whatsoever. I do have a college degree, but I don't make 6 figures. I live under my own roof, my own house. I do pay bills and other things I have to pay for priorities. But I decide how do I spend my money on the most important things, like track stuff. Yeah, I could spend $6,000 on a car, like a project car, or $6,000 on wheels or suspension for show stuff, but I don't. I'd rather spend that $6,000 on entrance. So you, as a person, have to kind of decide what's most important for you if you want to continue on this tracking stuff. So anyways, I spent $6,000 and I decided to get my racing license. And NASA offers that too. So in order to get your racing license with NASA, you must have a DE4 accreditation or have a time trial license. And NASA does check if you are either one of those. If you don't have either one of those, you're not going to go to racing school. There are exceptions though. When I went to racing school, I had like 12-year-old, 16-year-old kids applying for their comp license just like me. And they were going to go to the MX5 Cup competition series, which is next level, or next level racing for that. And the way they got in is because of karting experience. And this isn't karting like K1 or Andretti Racing. No, this is like legit karting competition where you're having the kart suit, everything. You're doing competition stuff. Just FYI on that. If you can't get in also if you just, I done a lot of laps at K1. No, bro, that doesn't work. Okay, you gotta be like legit karting, like championship shifter karting type of stuff in order to go to racing school. And so anyways, luckily for me, I'm DE4, I got in, and the cost for that was, I think, around like $700, I think, for comp school, plus the actual racing, which was $500 for that weekend. So $1,200 right there. Kind of pricey, but honestly, I'd rather spend that money on that than other stuff. Again, it's priorities for you as a person. And Friday was classroom stuff. They kind of teach you the etiquettes of racing and passing scenarios and flagging stuff. And then you take a written test. And if you pass the written test, Friday afternoon, they'll do passing drills, or they'll do certain drills with your car now. And, they kind of give you different scenarios while you're driving and all that good stuff. They'll have people watching you, making sure that you know what you're doing. And then it's not too bad. It's intimidating at first, but, if you have a good understanding of car control and, being comfortable at the limit, you'll do fine. And come Saturday, Sunday is the races. Each day is 2 races, so a total of 4 races on a weekend. And they'll give you a provisional license for those 4 races, which means it's a learner's permit, basically. And you should race cleanly. Cleanly meaning no big accidents, no big offs. And if you do that good, they'll give you your racing license after the 4th race. And with that racing license, you're rookie status for the whole year. And then you're pretty much it. You got your racing license. You can go anywhere really with that racing license. You can transfer it over to SCCA. You can go more at a pro level like the MX5 Cup, like those kids were doing, which props to them doing that. Or, continue racing with NASA with the amateur stuff. Like with me, I'm Super Touring 6. Some other homies are like CMC. They're Spec Miatas, just things like that. And, you can just have a good time with that license. So with that being said, with racing school, you do need some things though, not just the accreditation level, but you also need to have a car that's 4-wheel, 2-wheel racing, meaning you need to have a cage, some safety stuff, etc. And for me, my 8.6 wasn't exactly wheel-to-wheel ready, safety-wise. And what I did is I hit up my friend Dennis. He has 3 Spec Miatas, and he rents them out. And the website he owns is MiataRental.com. Or RentalMiata.com, one or the other, I forget. Sorry, Dennis, but yeah, it's either RentalMiata.com or MiataRental.com. And I rented out his NA Miata for the comp school. And then as a driver, you need to have a few safety equipment. You need to have a racing suit that's Nomex or fire retardant. You need to have a helmet that's not expired, like Snell 2020 right now. And then head neck restraint plus baklava or a head sock that's fire retardant also. And also socks, racing socks like Nomex racing socks, fire retardant also. The Nomex gloves, and also fire retardant shoes. And that adds up. You can definitely, get the cheapest stuff for sure. As long as it's fire retardant, that's great. But it does add up with the safety equipment plus your car. And that's one of the requirements for racing. But anyways, once you have all that and you get your racing license, you do this 3-day accelerated course, you're all good, you're set. Now, that's not the only way to get your racing license. Now, I know I spent $6,000 plus $1,200 to get up to that level to go racing and get my racing license. So that's $7,200, right? And that's not including my rental for the Miata, my gas, my maintenance, and the M3, all that. That's not including that. That's just entrance stuff. So it still adds up, right? And if you want to, another thing I can recommend is that you can go to Skip Barber Racing School. It's they offer the 3-day racing school and then the 2-day advanced racing school. It's broken up into 2 sections. The 3-day racing school will teach a novice basically on how to race properly. You don't get your comp license yet though. It's like an introduction basically, get you comfortable and all that. And the 3-day racing school includes everything where all you need to do is just show up and drive. That's it. You don't need to have a car. You don't need to have, the suits and all that good mess. And that costs about $6,300. So yeah, it's still money, but I spent $6,000 in a year to go up to DD4, right? So you can do that too also with Skip Barber, but just a lot quicker versus 12 track events. You just do 3 days basically. And then once you do the 3-day racing school, then you can get your comp license with the 2-day advanced racing school, which I'm looking at right now. It's $5,395, which is still expensive, right? So you're gonna be spending like $12,000-$13,000 roughly just to get your racing license with Skip Barber versus me $7,200 for entrance. But you gotta keep in mind that I still have to pay for gas, maintenance and all that, so it still adds up. And either one of those routes you can do. You can do the HPDE ladder, which I did, or go to Skip Barber Racing School or another racing school which offers a comp license, like Bondurant Racing School or some other type of racing school that offers that. But expect to pay at least 10 G's or 10 grand for that. And if you think about it, yes, it's expensive, but like I said, you as a person have to kind of prioritize what's most important to you. I know that probably a lot of you guys that are watching this probably don't make 6 figures. You're not rich or anything, just like me. Like I don't make 6 figures at all whatsoever. I know some people think I do because I do this racing stuff, but I literally spend my money to go racing and don't have a whole lot left over. And I know some other people that are into other car stuff, they spend their money on other things like wheels or suspension or, show car stuff or performance mods, HP, which is great. I'm not docking on anybody. I'm not, bringing anyone down, but you got to realize that should I spend, I don't know, $3,000 on this supercharger, or can I spend that $3,000 on racing school or on seat time for HPD events? You gotta kind of decide what's most important to you. And for me, I'd rather give up a supercharger to get seat time, to get faster as a driver for me. And also that is that I love tracking because it keeps me calm on the streets. I don't want to spend all this money on horsepower or flashy stuff and just only to enjoy it on the streets or do it on the streets because I don't have any money left over to go tracking. For me, I need to go tracking because it calms me down. It doesn't make me want to drive reckless, because before I did tracking, man, I was like doing stupid stuff on the streets, like reckless stuff, like driving fast. And there's one time where I got a speeding ticket and almost went to jail because I was going so fast. And that was a time that hit me like, man, I need an outlet, a safe outlet to go. And that's when I realized NASA, HPDE type of stuff was for me. So with that being said, you can definitely get your racing license. And with that, once you get your racing license, you can go to a pro level and do that. And it just takes more money though. So just FYI on that. It's not going to be cheap. It's going to be more expensive than the amateur stuff like NASA racing or SCCA racing. But if you want to move on up there, you just got to develop, the time for that and the money for that. For me, I don't even have that kind of money to go pro, but I'm going to figure out maybe a way to hopefully go pro without spending a exorbitant amount of money. So, yeah, I hope this video was good for y'all and good information. If you have any questions or comments, I guess just leave it down below. I'll be happy to answer them. And this is, like I said, from my own personal experience in going racing and stuff like that. So yeah, hope y'all have a good day, and I guess I'll see y'all at the racetrack or wherever. All right, later.